What's up, folks? NYK-THERE here, sitting here watching Heat Pacers Game 2. Showing you guys this NBA 2K game. Good news, bad news. Good news in. The good news is I got a complete game in. Bad news is this guy is your typical NBA 2K online player. You know, you see me here, I'm setting up my plays for my people. You know my motto. It just makes common sense to have your players doing what they do best at all times. So I'll go in and I'll run my plays, I'll set my plays up. I usually do the defensive settings myself, but I'm just getting back into playing this game, so I'm not really concerned with that at the moment, even though I don't like using the D-pad adjustments, you know, the pressure shooters, lockdown paint thing. I think it's kind of gimmicky, and from my observation, it just does more harm than good, as you end up leaving wide open players for easy buckets. Plus, someone wanted to see how to get all the play art on the screen, so hopefully me showing myself navigating through those screens helps that dude out. And that's how I roll. I bring you sim, gimmick-free gameplay at all times. And I'm always willing to lend a helping hand because at one point in time, someone helped me. So why not give back to all y'all guys looking to play sim ball? And that leads me to the title of this video. What do I mean by that? There really isn't any such thing as a sim game, a sim sports game. Now when I say that, I'm talking about real sports games. I'm not talking about games like NBA Jam, MLB, the Bigs, NFL Fever, NFL Blitz, things like that. What I mean is, these games are only as sim as the person playing it. And if you need an example of what I mean by that, just look at this game being played here. Who's trying to play the game using basketball sense, trying to space the floor, playing good defense on his man, trying to get good shots, this, that, and the other, and who's playing chicken head basketball? That's what I mean. This game is quote-unquote a basketball simulation, but how much it is a simulation of NBA basketball depends on who you're playing, who's playing the game, and whether or not you're playing the CPU or not. The CPU does not play NBA-style basketball. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And if you think it does, then I really have no clue what to say to you. You must not have ever watched an NBA team run a half-court offense. But
I think they're really underrated. I mean, in terms
what I think happens is that people see a guy like Dwayne Wade, for example, on TV doing what he does, and then when they see him shooting like he does in a video game, flopping to the floor like he does in the video game, shooting his free throws at the same routine, yada yada yada, they say to themselves, oh, this game is so realistic, this game is so authentic. But they're not really paying attention to how Dwayne Wade is playing. They're not paying attention to him mindlessly leaving his man to sag off in the paint, even though you have him denying the ball on his man and you don't have your help defense sliders jacked all the way up. They're not paying attention to how he's improperly playing a pick and roll, or how you're able to just blow by him at will using a simple stutter step and maybe an isomotion chain move. Usually the stutter's hesitation step is usually not to blow by anybody in this game.
Second shot opportunity.
Madu.
Yes, sir, that one drops.
And you know, I don't expect on-ball defense to be a picnic. On-ball defense is quite challenging. But I'm not one of these cowards who's afraid of getting beat. I'll just stick to what I do, have confidence that just by concentrating and executing what I want, it'll eventually pay off.
Harrelson.
You got these guys out here playing headless chicken defense or hiding in a 1-3-1 zone all game. When you pass the ball to one guy, they switch off. You pass the ball to the other guy, they switch off, and they don't want to defend you. They just want to roam around. What I used to do for fun every once in a while, just to kind of make fun of them, is just pass the ball around the key while they're switching guys around and get a shot clock violation on purpose. So that's what I mean when I say there are no sim games, there are only sim players. So, enough of that. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. Chris Bosh, out indefinite. Don't think it'll matter too much against the Pacers. May not even matter much against the winner of Celtics Sixers. But it will probably matter if he can't play if the Heat get to the finals, or if he's in a diminished capacity against San Antonio, Oklahoma City, or the Lake. Those are the three teams I think have the best chance of getting to the finals.
Can't cash in on the 10-foot jumper.
Because you need that third wheel. You need that third guy who's just going to kind of blend in the background, come in and out of the game, assert himself if need be, and pick his spots and get his 15 to 20 points. Or maybe have a 20-plus night when one of your top two guys are being shut down or aren't quite feeling it. But they might be able to get away with it. I think they will be able to get away with it until they get to a final, because Wade and LeBron are going to be the two best players on the court.
Well, and you can see it out there. I mean, these players all respect each other
versus any team that they play against in the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't get too overly worked up about Philly beating. What in the world is Leonard doing there? See what I mean? Missed a shot. Why the hell was he there? But anyhow,
Green's got the first points of the second half up on the board for the
Spurs. What was I saying?
New York trailing.
I wouldn't be too overly concerned about
West too, Steve. A lot of those teams probably
the Sixers beating the Celtics. Here's the thing about the Celtics. They're going to have a couple of games every series where they're going to look old and broken down. But I think winning is so hardwired into their DNA that you're going to have to, stab those guys in the chest with a stake to kill them. I mean, they're just not going to go away. They're not going to go away peacefully. You're going to have to beat them down. And I don't think Philly has the firepower to get it done.
Going back, Clark, to that first round upset, the second time an 8th seed has ever won.
I just don't think Philly's going to be able to score enough. And the
And
Celtics have enough pride and enough ability to turn, back the clock for a couple of games to, I think, stave off a team that doesn't really have too many offensive threats. I wouldn't get too overly excited about Oklahoma City thrashing the Lakers last night. I think Oklahoma City's the better team, but I think that series is going to go at least 6 games. You're going to have a couple of Kobe explosion games where he's just going to, do what he does and carry a couple of games. But I think, ultimately, them not having an answer for Westbrook, Harden off the bench, and their inconsistent big man play will eventually be their undoing. I'm looking forward to Spurs Clippers, two of my favorite people in the league going at it.
That's the 5.
Duncan and Chris Paul. Love Chris Paul. You can have Derrick Rose. You can have Westbrook. You can have Rondo. You can even have Tony Parker. Chris Paul can run my team any day of the week. That guy, that guy is the best at running a team that I've seen since Stockton. To me, he's the best pure point guard in the entire league. I don't care if the other guys, you know, Deron Williams is in that category as well. I don't care if those other guys are more explosive scorers or more athletic. In the case of Rondo, he's a freak of nature. Chris Paul can do whatever needs to be done. If he needs to assert himself and score, he'll do it. If he needs to, you know, blend in the background and set people up and ride the hot hand, he'll do it. Need lockdown defense, he'll do that as well. He has no weaknesses other than his knees. As long as his knees hold up, to me, he and Nash are the point guard standard as far as the total package of what you look for in a traditional NBA point guard. I don't want my point guard, you know, have to score 24, 25 points a game. That's just me. I'm old school like that. But I'm not a Blake Griffin fan. I think Blake is getting exposed a little bit. I think right now he's what I call a regular season player. You know, he'll explode for, you know, 20 points and double-digit rebounds every night against the weak sisters of the league, and also on those nights where he's catching highlight reel lobs. But I don't think he's mentally or physically ready for the postseason yet. And you're seeing the warts of his game get exposed a little bit. His lack of a go-to post move outside of, you know, spin and finish. You know, he doesn't have a, you know, jump hook or a 12 to 15 foot jumper he can rely on, and he's a liability at the line. And I don't think that's going to be enough to get by San Antonio. San Antonio is too smart, too deep, too well coached to get beat by a guy like that. So I think we're going to see a San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder West Coast Conference Final and a Heat Celtics Eastern Conference Final.
Well, you can see why the defense is willing to let him take that shot. That's really nice.
And we'll see how it plays out, and you guys can see how the rest of this bad boy plays out. It's been overtime here.
Safe to say that's a pretty high
again, look at that, just idiotic pass.
Well, that's a really slick move to come up with that steal.
Full court trapping the entire game.
Backing him down is
triangle button and X button mashing on defense. Paint pounding or three-point shooting.
Here's Smith. Duncan with some nice D.
Vintage NBA 2K Online.
Someone with his touch around the rim. That's a surprise.
The reason why it's so easy to get into the paint is that it's so easy to just trigger animations that enable you to just disrespect the defender's positioning. You can just slide off of him. NBA Live 10 got very few things right, but one of the things they got right was getting into the paint is no picnic, and you can't just disregard the defender's space. But that game had a whole host of issues that is too deep to get into on what's left in this video, as Tony Parker drains the game winner. So I will bring you more hoops content as the playoffs roll on, and I'll talk to you all later. Enjoy. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the NBA on 2K Sports.